Okay.
Okay. Your first question is, how effective do you think standardized testing is? Why or why not?
I think it's modestly effective in teaching you stuff because it definitely gives you like a lot of information at once on a specific subject and forces you to try and understand it. But I think it's done in a way that the actual learning aspect of it doesn't really click with you. I think that going into it, the biggest thing on your mind is just getting the actual test done and less focus on actually learning the information. Information just comes to you. You learn it for that one day that you're doing the test, and then you may remember some of it later, but it's nothing that's really like relevant to me after I've done the test. Once the test is done and over, then I have no reason to care about the subject.
Okay. Isn't there anything you would change about standardized testing? Why and how?
Tests in general have always kind of bugged me. I think they bug everybody, but I think that it is good to have some kind of way of knowing if you know the subject. If anything was to change, I would rather subjects were taught more hands-on. Like instead of just reading information from a book and then reading it back to a teacher, you took that information and put it into like literal practice. If standardized tests were more like maybe projects that you had to do in front of your teacher or projects that you had to do and deliver to the teacher, then I feel that would be more of like an obvious, okay, I took the information and I'm putting it in a real world setting and I prove to you that I understand it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen or heard standardized testing have a mental or physical effect on students?
I don't know if I've necessarily heard any specific facts, but most anybody that you talk to when you're taking like big tests, they'll usually say they stress over it, and you'll hear that like all the time. You know, I have a big test tomorrow. I have a big, test in a few days, and I got to study. So, yeah, I would imagine it's like a great big stress, but I haven't looked up any specific facts on it.
Okay. Do you think standardized testing is an effective way to test ability? Why or why not?
I think I kind of said that before. Yeah, I think I don't think it really proves ability per se. I think you're just kind of learning information, or not even really learning it, you're just memorizing it for one test, and then I don't think it processes as strongly as they maybe hope. There are some cases where people have learned by just looking up information and then putting it into practice, but I don't see that working as much as schools hope it would. Has testing at all helped or affected my career? I guess going through the motions of school, like being given an assignment and then knowing, okay, I have a specific time to do it, like deadlines. I guess I have gotten into the motion of meeting a deadline from standardized tests because they do tell you, okay, the test is then, and so, all right, I have this amount of time until I reach the deadline. I need to use that time wisely. But that's really about it. I don't remember much actual learning coming out of standardized testing.
Do you feel that standardized testing is a way to test all students fairly? Why or why not?
If we're talking fairness, I suppose it's such a basic way of testing people that it must be fair inherently. I suppose but again, it's such a very like basic way of doing it. I don't know if it's as strong a way to attest abilities as like maybe like doing a project or something.
Okay. How do you think standardized testing has affected your schedule? Why and how?
Affected my schedule. Could you elaborate on that?
It was more like your education schedule.
Oh, you mean like how I would, like I was saying, how I meet deadlines then, or?
Well, it's a
How has it affected my education, standardized tests? Well, it's definitely an aspect of school that I always remember. I suppose, like, actually learning stuff from it, it does definitely force me to look into the subjects, whereas otherwise, I wouldn't have cared. I think one thing that you could take away from standardized testing is that as an adult in the college I'm in now, I have more of a care to look into my education and being better than I am. But in like high school and even part of like community college, I didn't care, or middle school either. And so, and I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but standardized testing does kind of, in a sense, push the subject onto you in a way where you have to look up the information, and in having to look up that, you do technically learn something from it, because now you have to go through the motions, look up the subjects, and get into the motion of like, okay, we're working now, we need to learn something. And if it works and you get some kind of like knowledge or insight from it, then I guess in a sense it does work.
Okay, that's it.